Welcome, and I'm John Gray, and this is our Facebook Live every Thursday at 10 o'clock Pacific time. Today, I'm very excited to be talking about new research which has come out. It's fantastic research. This research is from Nature Journal, which is one of the most prestigious journals. We're going to talk about some new research today about how we can take simple supplements that can completely recharge your brain. I don't want to get too far into the weeds of it before more people are here, but I want to welcome everybody. Uh, Misha has
Yeah,
asked a
people are starting to
question.
join
Yeah,
now.
as
Yep.
people start to join, I'll answer. Misha came right in first. So, what's her question? Can you elaborate between correlation between high estrogen and cancer? Because one woman, uh, there's when you have what's called high estrogen, what they're meaning is the relationship between your estrogen and your progesterone is off. Okay, so that's one aspect of it. After you have ovulation, your estrogen levels need to go down and your progesterone levels need to go high. They need to go higher than your estrogen. So they call it estrogen dominance, and but actually it's not enough progesterone because after your period going towards ovulation, you don't make progesterone. You primarily make estrogen and testosterone. And during that time, you want to balance your estrogen with your testosterone. And part of why women become often surprisingly moody or unhappy or dissatisfied in the 5 days prior to ovulation is, and this is why I talked about in Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, women are like waves, is for the first 5 days after your period, as a woman, uh, things feel pretty good. And you have a kind of a healthy balance of testosterone and estrogen. But then for the 5 days up to your ovulation, your estrogen levels need to double so that your body could potentially make a baby. So you're designed to be able to potentially make a baby every month. And whether you're going to do it or not, or you have sex or not, your body still is supposed to, it has its rhythm that it has to go through. And what produces estrogen is feeling that I have support in my life. Whenever you feel I have support, I have help, I don't have to do it all myself, that produces estrogen. You get even higher surges of estrogen if you experience some moderate danger. That then charges your estrogen way up. That's why romantic movies always, it's the woman is in danger and then the guy comes to rescue her. Well, what's happened at a time of danger, her body is making cortisol, a surge of cortisol, not long-term cortisol, but it has to be kind of like in the moment, a surge of cortisol. And then a man comes to help her, and what that does is it converts testosterone instantly into estrogen. She gets a surge of estrogen, and that then causes her to be turned on to the man. So there's a dance there. And when they talk about uh, estrogen, we're talking about estradiol. And after after menopause, during menopause, what's going on there is your estrogen levels, estradiol. There's two types of estrogen we're talking about here, estradiol and estrone. Now, estrone is a hormone that makes women feel self-sufficient. They don't need help. So estradiol doesn't get produced because you basically feel very self-sufficient. I don't really need help. It's easy to do it myself. You're more self defined. But what happens is you stop making estradiol, and so people often take estradiol, and if you go on, the searches, there's side effects of uh, taking estradiol. You don't want to take hormones. Ideally, if you have a good doctor and you're working with your doctor, and I'm not going to fringe into that territory, but there are right on the label of estradiol supplements. There's side effects, and so that's the world of that world you talk to your doctor about, not me. There's dangers there, potential dangers, potential risks for cancer. That's taking it. But making it, if your body's making a healthy balance, but your body can also make an unhealthy balance, which is there's two extremes here. One is you're making too much estrogen at a time after your ovulation period, and you need to be making more progesterone. So what does that look like? That means after your ovulation, don't look so much to your partner for happiness and fulfillment. In the period 5 days before ovulation, that's where women's mood can change dramatically, because suddenly her body is potentially about to make a baby. Just look at the logic of it. Her body's about to make a baby, or could make a baby. What do you need to make a baby? Well, you need help. You need a man. So men are more attractive during that time. So you want more from a man. That's one. Two, you need a place to live. You need shelter. You need food. So finances can become a bigger issue at that time. And who's going to help provide finances if you can't go out in the fields and work because you got a baby? So you've got more of a sense of what am I missing? What am I missing? And that creates dissatisfaction if you're not getting. So that's a time where women have to learn some of the new skills in my book, which are how to ask for help, how to ask for support, how to ask for more help, more support. You know, if your husband's already doing everything for you and he's wonderful and you ask for more, he's going to feel completely defeated. If I'm already being a good husband and it seems like everything's fine during the first 5 days of your cycle after your period, then suddenly you're wanting more, and that's the whole idea. Is it's a feeling of I need more. What's missing? What's not enough? What's not there? When you're when you're feeling that, and a guy's thinking, hey, everything was fine, and now suddenly you want more. Am I not doing enough? So that's a confusing message to men when you feel like you're wanting more. And there's nothing wrong with wanting more, but the confusing thing for a guy is when 5 days before you were fine, you seemed very happy, and then suddenly you would never take me out. We don't do this. We always do this. You know, there's some kind of complaint that can come forth. And it's natural. Your brain will go to what's missing. And so at that time, what's missing is a message to your brain that you have help. Okay, because what happens is a thing called habituation. And habituation is getting used to something. When something gets repeated and repeated and repeated and repeated, it's no longer stimulates dopamine. Dopamine says, pleasure, I have help, this is good, this is exciting, this is positive, makes me happy. So you need that dopamine rush from time to time. Otherwise, life is flat and boring. And so it will naturally go in waves like this, because when dopamine goes up, you get excited. The receptor sites close down. You become unexcited. Then you feel more peaceful. Your receptor sites will open up and more dopamine comes in and you get excited. So it's a natural rhythm of life. Right before here, I was just listening to something on my phone, and it was I think he looked like a Buddhist person or Zen, and they said, "Are you happy?" And he said, "I don't look for happiness. I look for peace. And peace is really, really good. There's no question about that. But from the spiritual perspective, my goal, just so you know, as a spiritual person, is, which to a great extent I have achieved after 50 years of meditation, is to always have this sense of peace that permeates everything. Everything's always okay. Everything's always all right. Everything's unfolding as it should be unfolding. And within that spectrum, you have ups and downs. It's like getting into a warm bathtub. If you don't move, you don't feel anything. But if you move, you can feel the waves of warmth. So this is the whole idea of life. I remember watching a movie where they wanted a man to be on antidepressants. Uh, it was in the courtroom, and they said, well, he has some mental problem. He should be on antidepressants. And he basically said, anything that keeps me from feeling pain and anguish if my daughter was to die, I don't want to take. See, that's a beautiful example. I mean, the thought that if my wife could die, which she did die, and me not feel anything, but just feel peace, it's not the world I want to live in. Uh, I cherish the pain I feel sometimes when I think about my wife because I'm talking about it now, so I feel it now. And uh, there's the pain of not having her in my life. But very quickly, all I have to do is just say, why? I don't really have to do this. I'm already doing it, but I can share what goes on inside of me. You feel emotional pain. You just say, why do I feel this pain of loss? Because I love my wife. I love her so much. And then you feel love. See, this is love is an amazing experience to have. It's connecting the most primitive parts of our brain, which is which connects with the soul. The energy comes through us and develops from the back part of the brain to the middle part of the brain to the front part of the brain up the top, and it comes back around. And we have a big torus field around us that spins around. And we want to be whole as whole beings, let the energy flow all the way to the from the lowest, most unconscious realms all the way to the highest, and it comes around. And that's the life force. That's what I experience in my meditations, which is why I teach people so powerful is to use the feeling letter technique because it allows you to feel emotion. The only part of us that connects everything together is emotion. And there is an emotion of peace, which is amazingly profound. There's no question about that. You know, if you've gone through war, intense emotion, then afterwards you'll feel intense peace. You'll feel an alignment with the soul, which is peace. But that's just that's just one part of us. There's no joy in that. There's no happiness in that. There's no sadness in that. There's no fear in that. There's no trust, faith in that. Faith only has relevance if you have fear. Sadness, joy only has relevance because there's sadness. It's relativity. We live in a relative world. And part of what we want is practicing meditation is a way to connect with the soul. But then you have to bring the soul into the torus field, all the way up from the lower emotions of apathy to anger to fear to, there's all these different levels of emotion. And I've simplified it with the feeling letter technique, where you just basically activate these uh, four levels of the brain, which is the anger, sadness, fear, regret. Those perspectives is looking at life from four different points of view. We'll put it that way. I guess I got off on the track of the estrogen and why the association of estrogen with cancer. And I'm just associating with cancer is only can grow in any sickness, only grows through chronic stress. And so what we have is hormonal imbalances. And for women, there is an association of estrogen. Don't take estrogen because that's a completely different mechanism in your body than if you're actually making estrogen and making estrogen at the right time of the month. So when you're after ovulation, you're designed now to estrogen to stay there. You still need support, but not as much. And progesterone has to increase. And when progesterone increases, what increases your progesterone? But doing things that you like to do. There's for a woman, there's three major forces. And I should just mention as I'm talking about these three major forces, this is all completely explored in a 6-week class at marsvenus.com. It's called the how to get your me time, meaning the time where you need to make estrogen, the time when you need to make testosterone, the time when you need to make progesterone. You have to find these balances. What happens is women get caught over in testosterone land where they're constantly solving problems, caring about others, doing things for others, whether you're staying at home with children, whether you're in the workplace, you're over there giving, 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 giving. You have to find the balance of the time that makes you happy, balanced by the time where somebody else is making you happy. That's we time. So she talks about you time, more testosterone, we time, estrogen, and me time, progesterone. Progesterone is anything you do because you like doing it. You don't feel an obligation to do it. You don't feel you have to do it. You don't feel pressured to do it. It's something you enjoy doing. So when it comes to progesterone, it's activities which are divided in two. If you're more of an extroverted person, it's social bonding. It's talking with girlfriends, it's hanging out parties, it's making dinner together, it's family time together. It's but feeling not rushed. You have the time to do it. You don't have to do things. This feeling of overwhelm that women have, that's always pushing down their progesterone. And progesterone causes anxiety and depression and suicidal feelings in women. It's major stress. And so when we come to cancer, we're talking about anything which is producing major stress. And so there's these cancers which are associated with estrogen. So it's estrogen imbalance. So what you also have is during the cycle going up from your period to ovulation, estrogen has to gradually rise. And as it gradually rises, your needs become greater. And the ultimate need for estrogen is to feel, I have help. So one of the techniques in the new book, which is be happy with or without a man. So it's kind of like telling women you should all be without men. That's your choice. But so many times women don't have a choice. They don't understand at all how amazing men can be. And they don't have relationships in their past where they had these skills to discover how amazing men can be. They didn't have a childhood with a father where they could see how amazing men can be and understand how completely different men are. So one of those examples is men go to their caves. I have to talk about this because I was having a dream before I woke up this morning. I was in a coffee shop and having my coffee in the morning. And although I don't drink coffee anymore, I change all the time. But right now I'm caffeine free. And so I'm in the coffee shop in the morning and over in the corner, and there's all these people in this shop. And then I just start talking, and a crowd starts to develop. And anyway, the talk I gave was the talk I'm going to give now, something like it, which is men going to their cave. Now, if you're a little girl and you're growing up in a home and your dad is doing his normal thing, dad comes home and he's reading the newspaper. Now it would be different, but it would just go back to many of us grew up where dad would come home and read the newspaper. Now dad's on his computer. But either way, you would see that mom was perfectly fine with that, is that mom wasn't needy for affection and attention and support and for help because he was doing his job. He was providing for the family. And now he was taking his me time, his cave time. And she had no problem with that. And she could ask him for help. If she wanted to ask for help, she would ask for help. She didn't need much help because she wasn't overwhelmed with too much to do. I'm just taking examples from my childhood, but when a man pulls away, he becomes completely detached from emotion. And mom's always got emotion going on unless she's really having big problems and she's detached. But when men be detached, it doesn't mean that they're not available to you. He's just in his cave, and there's something normal about that. Mom looked at it as it was normal. It was very different from mom, but mom knew that men and women were different. Everybody's always known men and women are different. It wasn't until this feminism thing came in, which said we're all equal, And what they meant by that is we should all be the same. Equality does not mean same. Equality means equal respect, equal opportunity. But when you have the idea, when the brain can't comprehend that you can be equal and different, apples and oranges, they're equal, but they're completely different. It's apples or oranges. It's man or woman, and there's no in the past there was this ignorance. There's no question about it, that women could not hold down a an important job. Okay, there was a lot of men. How could she run a company? This is my mom who gets upset over these little things. And who sometimes plays games and is playful. I mean, women can wear so many hats. It's hard to imagine her running a company or running a country and whatever. If you're a little boy growing up, you can't imagine that. And so, and women didn't really have the opportunity to do those jobs because they were busy pregnant with children and so forth. So it was just an adjustment just to see that women can do this and women can do this. Of course, they can do this. The problem is, as women can run the world, as men can run the world, not better, not worse. Everybody's got their own human problems. I don't see any distinction there. But what I do see is that for women, when they go to their male side, it's very hard for them to be happy and fulfilled. It's very hard for them to, well, in my message, come back to their female side, and they just have greater stress. Uh, but it has to come up in my mind. I have to just share. I remember back. This is when right before the day that America started bombing Afghanistan. Now, I personally knew that was all fake war. I knew Iraq was a fake war, and I lost a lot of followers because I said, what are we doing here? Because I'm all about love and peace, and so I'm not a political person, but we can't start this war. There's no point to it. This is idiotic. This is stupid. There's no reason for us to be there. Stop going there. and and I was in the teacher's lounge just about to go out at the University of Southern California to give this talk. And in the lounge, they started the bombing. I was right there in that moment. And I was saying, no, no, no. And there was, I think it was 7 women faculty all going, yes, 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 bomb them, bomb them, bomb them. So I have no idea. People say, oh, we have to live in a peaceful world, more peaceful world if women ran the world. No way. It has nothing to do with male or female. It all has to do with ignorance. And men can be ignorant, women can be ignorant. So there's no, in my mind, sense that, this idea that, oh, if we just had women, it would be peace everywhere. I remember hearing Margaret Thatcher. I heard her talk at Marin County one time, and she was bragging about why people call her the Iron Woman, because she was like a man in a woman's body, and probably was, but anyway, she's a man in a woman's body, and she would say, "I'm the Iron Woman because we are the biggest seller of guns and tanks and munitions because every country has a right to protect itself." And she's a warmonger. This is if people could understand the whole story of World War II. I'm not so clear about World War One, but it was World War II. England was winning all that war. It was anyway. I shouldn't go into history. We'll come into us. But the point is, evil exists in everybody, and it can be triggered in everybody. And we, in our humble lives, have to realize that when we shut down our hearts, we're contributing to the evil in the world. We are all part of one big consciousness, and all these little parts. And it's up to us we want peace in the world. It's up to us to keep our hearts open. And the place where your heart becomes tested the most is in marriage or in intimate sexual relationships. And why do I say that? Because it's only in sexual relationships that you activate your unconscious mind. Okay, this is the deepest part of you. When you can bring light into the deepest part of you, then you start to transform that. And that's the substrate of all human consciousness, is bringing light to that place. And that's looking at the negative emotions that come up from that place. And because every time you feel a negative emotion and you're able to let it go, then the opposite comes into this consciousness of the planet, which is greater love, greater happiness, greater joy, greater trust, greater forgiveness. These are the feelings that we want to bring forth. And just ignoring negativity, being positive, does not bring more light into the world. It's when you go into honest looking at what's inside of you, bringing it to the surface and letting it go. And how to do that is why we have therapy. The whole point is learning to bring these things out into the light. And the most powerful tool I've seen for that, or one aspect of the most powerful tool to do that, there's a big picture there, is whenever you're upset, to identify it, to give words to it, and identify it in terms of emotion. When you can feel emotion, when you can feel, I'm angry. Why am I angry? Or I can say, why I feel pain in my heart. Why am I feeling sadness that I lost my wife? Okay, because I love her. Boom, I'm right back to love. Isn't that amazing? When I'm feeling angry, if I can feel, okay, I'm angry. I can't feel anger right now. So, but if I was feeling anger, what would I be angry about? And then why am I feeling anger? Is because I want the world to be a better place. Or because I need love and support. Let's say I can connect with this in a relationship where I was not feeling loved. I could be angry. How dare you look at me that way, say that to me, treat me that way? And why is that so painful? Well, because it's not what I want. I want you to love me. I want you to care about me. I want you to see I'm wonderful. I want you to be with me always. Now you're in that level of sadness. And why does sadness have some, why does it even exist? It's because underneath or associated or linked to sadness is the fear of being alone, fear of being abandoned, fear of not being seen as good enough, fear of not being supported, fear of losing love, fear of being cast out, fear of not fulfilling our potential, fear of not being able to find food, whatever it is. We all have these deep fears inside. They're behind everything. That's why anything can upset you. Nothing could upset you with anger if there wasn't also this latent fear inside. Otherwise, imagine you have no fear at all in the subconscious mind and somebody cheats you. No big deal. Yeah, I'll just make the money again. So I'll be fine. See, that is either no fear at all, or that's just complete denial, which is often the case. And then fear, where does fear come from? Fear only comes from, you can't have fear unless there's a part of you that feels unworthy, part of you feels inadequate, a part of you that feels guilty, part of you that feels shame, a part of you that feels not good enough. Because when you're pure, when you have that innocent pureness, what you're connected to your soul. And when you connect to your soul, there's a feeling everything's always okay. Everything's always okay. Because you're connected with the universal life force. Rich had asked me to read something that I read to him the other day. I didn't bring it with me today, but I'll do it next week, Rich. You remind me.
Okay, that's amazing.
But it was just while I was working on the new book. It's just, the idea came in. Well, I'll tell you how the idea came in, because I was editing the chapter on free will. You see, most of us don't have free will when we're in relationships, because as soon as you're triggered and you're upset, you become upset, your body produces stress hormones. And when stress hormones get produced, your brain leaves the part of your brain that has free will, and it goes into automatic reactions. Okay, you go into conditioned responses. It's like a free will. A conditioned response is like a reflex. The doctor will push certain places on your knee, under your knee, and your body will kick out. Okay, these are reflexes. We have conditioned reflexes. You cannot stop those reflexes. You can transform them over time, but they're not there from free will. If you put your finger towards fire, you'll pull away even before your blood flows to your free will part of the brain. When we're under stress, what we have is our brain is hijacked by the stress hormone, and we're no longer in present time, but we're reacting to a brain that existed a long time ago, not to the person you aspire to be, the person you've learned to be, but you react according to the past. So the most common to discuss this, and let's put it on the list for me to go into the chapter on the 12 ways our brain becomes hijacked. But one way the brain becomes hijacked is by, we'll do two today. One way is we make a big deal out of nothing. I mean, how many times have you gotten really upset and then the next day it was no big deal? So something really upset you and then you think about it, it's not that important. Oh, not such a big deal. That's the brain making things bigger than they are. And you have no control over that. That's what your brain will do. And the way you transform that is you have an awareness of that, oh, I'm in that state now. My brain has been hijacked. How do I get out of that state? You look at what you're feeling. And when you look at what you're feeling, then you look at what your emotions are behind the feeling. Like maybe I feel cheated, or I feel abandoned, or I feel attacked, or I feel hurt, whatever. So I feel, and then what's the emotion that's linked to that? Am I sad? Am I angry? Am I afraid? Am I feeling ashamed? And they're real basic, these basic emotions that will connect with your soul. The further away from your soul, the more complicated it all gets. But it's real simple. You just get into your basic emotions, and then you go into your basic positive emotions, because your positive emotions will be a reflex to your negative emotions. Everything is these reflexes. We live in a relative world. So if you, like I demonstrated a minute ago, all I have to do is feel how sad I am. And I don't walk around feeling sad that Bonnie's not in my life. Although I am having a little trouble throwing things away every day. Today I was opening the drawers in my bathroom, and there's Bonnie's drawers and there's my drawers, and then I opened her drawers and I took one thing out and threw it away. I'm making progress, but I can't bear to throw that away. I just don't want to let go of her. She's a part of me, and that's something which is, and I'm happy with that. There's no rush for me. I love that I could just in an instant connect with my heart being fully open without pain. There's like a version of pain, because right away the love just flows in, and I showed you how that works. When you ask why. And so the first thing is, if you're angry, you ask why, and you first you'll look at what happened on the outside, but then you'll realize, if you keep asking why, well, why am I angry about that? I didn't get what I wanted. I didn't get what I like. I'm not getting what I should have, whatever it might be. If you keep asking why, well, why is that a big deal? Okay, well, because it's not what I was expecting. So everything you're angry about is always something you weren't expecting. And something you're not expecting is a loss. Okay, I didn't think this was going to happen. I thought this was going to happen. So you didn't get what you were attached to. And so you feel the sadness and disappointment. You feel the hurt. You're feeling deprived. And then when you look at that, well, why are we having that emotion? You can only have a moment of negativity, because you go into, well, what does this mean for the future? If I just lost all my money, where will I get food tomorrow? See, that's how that works. So that's fear. And then when you have fear, you kind of go, well, why am I afraid? Is because a part of it goes, well, maybe I'm not good enough to earn the money again, or to get the love again, or that people won't love me, or I don't deserve it. Women, deep down inside, our female side comes from a place of I don't deserve. This is why women are always trying to earn love. That's what makes codependency, where women make other people's needs more important than their own. That's codependency. And the flip side of that is the male codependency. Is he makes his own needs more important than yours. And it's all a man has to do. See, we're all designed this way. Men are designed to take care of themselves first, so they can take care of somebody else. Women are designed to take care of somebody else before themselves, because they have to make babies. When you have babies, you have to put yourself to the side. You have to take care of that baby. Otherwise, survival doesn't happen. Civilization doesn't occur. You risk your life for your children. That's Mama Bear. There's no question about it. She has to give. But the way it's set up is she can't get a baby unless she's got a man who will take care of her. So he's over here taking care of himself so he can take care of her so that she can take care of the baby. And now we have a nice, beautiful picture here, which is the opposite of how we live our lives today with all these uh, women not getting married. Okay, there's so many women not getting married now, twice as many as when I was growing up. And so many women they're way on their male side, and they're kind of like lost in the material world, which is certainly if you stay on your male side longer, you'll make more money. There's no question about it for most women. Uh, just hang in there on your male side and wait till you're 45 to have kids because you're frozen your eggs. Uh, you got a big risk there. That's a big challenge, and it doesn't always work out. And there's something very fulfilling about having a family. As I get older, I see the truth of that more and more. Joyce Brothers, a really wonderful person, she wrote a book about gender differences long before I did. She was like a very popular on TV person, and uh, she's a friend of mine. And she said, I think it was Joyce, when I'm a younger guy in my early 30s, make sure you have children. You know, you can be very successful, you can make lots of money, but make sure you have children because as you get older, people are dying. It's your children that give you happiness in life. And I, I'm not really at that place, but I already have a family and I have my children, I have my grandchildren. It's very, very fulfilling. I can see how empty it would be. I have friends whose all their friends have died. You know, if you're going to live a long, healthy life, we want to live a long, healthy life. I plan on that. And then your family members all dying off. You know, who's left? It's a very empty world. So the idea is to help everybody be healthy. We could all live long together. But also, if you can, create a family. Otherwise, you create a family, which is besides making your own children. But well, what I want to do with my book, Be Happy With or Without a Man, is help women who don't have a man to be happy. But also, once you can be happy without a man, men can make you happier. It's very easy for a man to make a woman happier if she's already happy. And when you're already happy, you don't pick the wrong guy. That's another thing about who do you pick to be with. There are something called the wrong guy. When you're unhappy, it's because you're not getting what you need. Here's one of the illusions that occurs is that when your estrogen needs to go high towards ovulation, right? It needs to double. At that time, your needs increase. If you don't have what you need in your life, what will tend to happen is danger will also raise your estrogen really high if somebody comes along who makes you feel dangerous, but you feel safe in their presence. So all you have to do, so this is sort of explains why women who are into saying, I'll have sex with you right away, okay, we'll call it loose women. I hope I don't offend too much, but free-spirited women who give sex away for free, so to speak, uh, to get love. Women who give sex to get love, they know men will look your way if you're throwing your sexuality out there, saying, "Oh, I want to have sex with you. I'm easy. Let's do it tonight." If you're easy around sex, you will definitely attract a certain type of man, and that's the man who is thinking about himself. Oh, that feels good. I'd like to do that. And so he's not ready to make a commitment. He doesn't want to make a baby. He just wants to have his own pleasure. He doesn't, and nothing wrong with pleasure. I'm not judging that. I'm just saying that if you're going to have sex with a man and you can have a baby, nature made it so you have all these concerns and worries and doubts. I'm not going to open up to you. But then there's this other thing that happens in a woman's biology, which is when there's danger, and it will raise her estrogen really, really high if she feels safe. So the danger is there. So you find yourself being sexually attracted to men who are not available to make a commitment. And how do you know? It's because you're getting turned on to a man and you don't even know him. You're getting turned on to a man, he hasn't done anything for you. You're getting turned on to a man and you can't live without him. And what evidence does he have? It's like it's all fantasy. So you end up having sex with the wrong guy who's not really the right guy for you. And that's called a father issue. That means that, generally speaking, when you were growing up, you didn't have a father or you didn't have an available father. So this is part of you that's still looking for that unavailable man, which then stimulates danger, which then turns you on. Where the flip side of this is one of the techniques that a woman can say to her husband, if you're married, you're in a relationship, but you want to spice it up, just tell your husband that sometimes when you're driving and I'm not comfortable because you're driving too fast, because sometimes I like you to drive fast, but sometimes I don't feel comfortable with your driving because I have a different comfort zone, grab the handle, and his job is to instantly slow down and honor you. I did this with Bonnie for the whole marriage, right? Because I naturally drive fast, but it was the best foreplay, which was, getting into a car, a woman, she's in the right seat, I'm driving it, she's going to feel always somewhat in danger. Women are very much aware of how things can go wrong. That's part of their makeup. Men are more aware of how quickly I can get somewhere. so she's over here, to a certain extent, feeling powerless. And so I'd be driving sometimes faster than her comfort zone. And she'd hold the handle. We already discussed how to do this. She'd ask me one day, how do I communicate to you that I want you to slow down without you becoming annoyed and irritated? Because I would get annoyed and irritated when she would tell me how to drive. As one comedian said, this is not me, but I laughed a lot, is that he was saying, my wife is my helper, my little helper in the car. She sits beside me and she reminds me of the colors. There's red and there's yellow and there's green. She always lets me know well in advance the exit I'm supposed to take. I don't know how I would get anywhere without her sitting in the front seat. And she reminds me that you can still get tickets if you drive too fast. So anyway, so Bonnie would give me, she knows that nobody likes to be told how to drive because you have to be intensely focused. So if you tell me how to drive, who's driving? Then I do what you do, or do I do what I do? And men tend to get hyper focused. Anyway, so what turned out to be one of the best foreplays was Bonnie asked me, how can I tell you without you becoming irritated? I realized there's nothing you can say. I'll be irritated, but you can just grab the handle and I'll immediately stop. So sign language is sometimes really good. So my new book, I've got sign languages and all kinds of things to help communicate how to get help from a man. And also convincing women how to ask for help, because women think it's weak or you'll be seen as less than, and they have no idea that all men want is a woman they can be successful in helping. There's a chapter in there where I talk about every man wants a woman to be happy, but if you actually got a woman that was happy, he would lose attraction for you, because women naturally got this up and down where they're happy and then they're not so happy, and then when they're not so happy, it's very easy to help her be happy if we just had good communication skills. So that's what actually causes men to bond with a woman, is when there's a problem and he solves it, and she's unhappy and he can solve it. Problem is, men don't know how to help women be happy, and women don't know how to get men to help them when they're unhappy. They often do the wrong thing. They complain. If you complain, you become the person who, I can't make you happy. Because as soon as you say to a guy a complaint, why didn't you do this? Why would you do that? Immediately his testosterone goes down. And for all the new people visiting us, the testosterone is the hormone that men have to make in order to feel attraction, to bond with you. So when a man solves a problem, when he feels successful, when he achieves something, when he does something, when he sets out with a goal and he takes action towards that goal, it produces testosterone. So So we started out talking. I'm going to retrace my steps, and we'll come back to our theme today. But I get started, and people gradually come in, so I have to sort of go back over what we just covered, and we were talking about estrogen and cancer and stress, and if you take estrogen, there's risk of cancer. There's there's the problem with estrogen is the balancing of estrogen, and when you're going towards ovulation, you want to have estrogen doubling as you get closer to ovulation. You don't want estrogen to be going up. You want it to be coming down a bit when you're after ovulation, and so that's called estrogen dominance. If after ovulation, that's when you need more progesterone and you need less from your partner. So here's the catch here. This is what happens is if you don't get your estrogen dose, if you don't get a surge of estrogen before ovulation, and let's say you don't ovulate, which is what happens when you're taking birth control pills. This is a whole nother world, and I don't have enough science to back it up. But I'll just say that if you're not ovulating, now your brain is really confused, and you're taking hormones, then you lose. In any case, when you take hormones, you disconnect from your inherent need to make those hormones. So let's say you're taking hormones, taking plenty of estrogen. There's a part of your body that's going to go, I don't need a man to make me happy. Uh, let's say you're taking progesterone, which is you're taking that for birth control pills. You're taking these pills. They discount this very important process of ovulation, which is what allows you to feel your needs. This could be one of the major reasons we have so many women who just go, why do I need a man? Why am I not attracted to a man? There's this birth control thing. A big reason women aren't attracted to men, of course, is that they think they're narcissists. They feel threatened by them. Their mother wasn't happy with the father. Why would I want to be with somebody that was not there for my mother, who I can't get what I need from? I mean, everything has to have a good reason behind it. But when you're taking hormones, you disconnect from your body's natural rhythms that tell you, okay, it's time for me to spend time with my husband, time for me to make love, time for me to have sex, time for me to spend time with my friends, time for me to work hard, make money, make food, garden, work in the fields, whatever it might be. All of those natural flow, go with the flow, is completely, you're disconnected to that completely if you take hormones. Just tossing that in. And yet I do know there's certain medical conditions and so forth where taking hormones might be a solution. I personally don't trust anything in the medical field to a great extent, unless I've tried it out. Many things I do trust, I've tried out. And we're going to talk about that today, which is this huge big breakthrough in terms of something that we should all be aware of, which is one out of five women who live beyond 65 will have Alzheimer's, and 1 out of 2 women who live beyond 80 will have dementia or Alzheimer's, and this is not good news. But the good news is that there's a 10-year study out of Harvard. It's taken a long time, and that now there's a substance that I have been promoting for 22 years, ever since I had early stage Parkinson's, and it helped me heal my Parkinson's. They're now 25 years later, they're all talking about that it is a treatment for Alzheimer's. They're using it now as a treatment for Alzheimer's to reduce the symptoms of Alzheimer's, to heal the brain. They're recommending it as a way to prevent Alzheimer's, and that this substance is lithium, and not just any lithium, the lithium that I've been recommending for years. Now, I am not recommending it in any way for a medical disease like Alzheimer's. No way. I'm just reporting on this study, which has shown that they spent billions of dollars trying to figure out how to give you a drug, and now they find out this simple mineral lithium bonded to a particular substance, orotic acid, called lithium oritate. And lithium oritate has been shown to what they're saying is they're using it as a treatment for people to prevent Alzheimer's is what they're recommending. I could never recommend that, but they can. I'm not a medical doctor. I just go by what works for me. I research stuff and I test it out and see. And this is what I found back when I personally had uh, uh, Parkinson's. And with Parkinson's, I was doing these alternative treatments, which were $10,000 a week to put amino acids into my bloodstream, along with taking lithium orotate. And for me, that was amazing. There are, I don't, I'm not a doctor. I don't consult even people who have Parkinson's. It's too big of a job for me. It's enough doing people's relationships. But uh, there is if you have family members with Parkinson's, there's a protocol by Dr. Hinz, Hinz, on PubMed, and then they'll say it was revoked. It's still there, but just says revoked because he started selling the supplements that would do it. Supplements are real simple supplements. He suggests amino acids. I'm not going to go through his whole protocol, but it's there. It's amino acids. It's I shouldn't. I don't want to do his whole protocol. You can go if you want his protocol. Um, I did it personally without that. Mine was just simply figuring out, once I was doing all these amino acids and a few other things, the lithium orotate mainly, and then I said, this is too expensive. So I went to, I developed at that time a shake, which is no longer available, but other shakes can do the same thing. And it was a shake that had protein, a balance of whey and casein proteins with enzymes. And those enzymes help to digest the protein, so it goes into the brain. And if you take the proteins and you put it in 101 degrees of water, it will pre-digest it for you. So you get this pre-digested protein, and it goes straight to the brain, gives the brain just what he needs. You don't have to look at doses or anything. And it's all natural. As best I can, I go with all natural. Why not? If you can, it's cheaper. It's food. Instead of having to buy supplements, just get food. Replace a meal with the shake. And there's the brand that I use is the one that has the enzymes already in it, and you can put it in the warm water. And Helena will put the name of Ellen. Ellen helps consult people on the right products to use to follow the protocol that I follow. So that will be available to you in the comments section. Also, you can always go to marsvenus.com/contact and ask for information about it. That's also available. But right at the top of the page is lithium orotate. That's one that I personally have had manufactured, and it's the advanced design. It's not just lithium orotate, but it's also has calcium orotate, which research has shown has help people lessen their hunger, lose weight. Magnesium orotate, which a form of magnesium that goes into the brain, which is really helpful to relax the brain. My belief is that it helps to balance both dopamine and serotonin. One of the things that lithium does is it regulates. And why we run low in lithium is because whenever you're really excited, your dopamine levels go up. Then it has to balance with serotonin, which is to relax afterwards. Well, that uses up lithium. It was used by psychiatrists because if you were bipolar, if you had highs, you would have lows. And lithium helped to balance that. But they had an inferior form of lithium, so it had side effects. And lithium orotate has no side effects and helps to balance, in my experience, helps to balance so that you don't have these big highs and you don't have these big lows, but you just have a steady stream of moderate ups and downs. And people who take lithium orotate they will have moderate ups and downs. And you'll notice right away if you have big ups, big lows, that will go away in my experience. The the people who have no ups and downs, they don't notice much when they take lithium orotate. However, uh, what I did is I made it so it works for everybody. Is I put all these extra ingredients in it, which is ashwagandha is a nice warming, uh, balancing, uh, what's called an adaptogen. I'm gonna look at the list of my ingredients in here, which is the ashwagandha, and all the research has shown it gives cognitive support, it increases memory, it helps with mental clarity. It's really for optimal brain function, and it's very popular today. Most people all know about these ingredients, so I don't really have to talk too much about it. They're very popular. There's and this is from India, from the Ayurveda, and it provides that extra support. Then there's berberine. Now, berberine is an amazing American Indian, but also East Indian, Indian. It helps to balance blood sugar. So when you have those highs and you have lows, that's always linked to blood sugar. And part of what dementia is blood sugar issues. According to that study, Alzheimer's is more to do with lack of lithium in the brain. They just found Alzheimer's patients don't have lithium in the brain, and people who who don't have Alzheimer's have lithium have more lithium in the brain. We'll put it that way. So what we want is energy. We want balanced energy. We want metabolism, and berberine does that along with something called fulvic minerals. Many of you have heard of shilajit, which is this amazing thing that comes from the Himalayan mountains. That's all fulvic minerals is what's in that. And this is a form of fulvic minerals that we have in this for your metabolism, for your strength. Then there's saffron, which now people are using uh, when they're feeling depressed, when they're feeling down. This is becoming very popular for creating a positive mood. These are sort of more heartfelt. They sort of open your heart more, and it creates a sense of satisfaction. When you eat a meal and you feel satisfied and you don't have to eat anything more, that's satisfaction. That's satiety. I think that's how you pronounce it. And saffron is known for that. So some people use saffron for losing weight. Uh, so there's a lot of important ingredients that I blended with this. So this is an advanced design. It's not just straight lithium orotate, but I'm just so excited because Alzheimer's is such a big issue. And also I'm personally excited because I've been promoting it for 25 years. And I've been telling people everybody should be taking it. It's not, there are other alternative doctors who regularly take lithium orotate. It's just one of the things they take. For me, my major two things that I do are lithium orotate and pre-digested proteins. I am expanding that with creatine. I'm just enjoying creatine as well. It's becoming very popular. It was popular a long time ago. It was known. I took it then, but the research on it was questionable. There were still forces that wanted to keep people from having it, and so I couldn't really recommend it. And if I can't recommend something, I don't take it because I feel like I want to be getting the benefits of things that I can recommend to other people. But now there's just so much good research on creatine, and I'm not recommending it right now. But I'll just say this: I was just hearing someone talk about if they're on jet lag, that they just amp up their creatine to 20 milligrams, to 20 grams. Usually you take about 5 grams a day. Some people do 10 grams a day. You just have more energy. Your muscles get bigger. You need your other proteins as well, but it amplifies it. People say it hydrates all your muscles, which sure sounds like a good thing to me. So creatine is a really good one. Anyone can add that to your superfood shakes or whatever sort of drinks you make. It's fantastic. So that's a little bit on the lithium orotate side. I tried to get lithium oritate put into whole foods, the Mars Venus super luritate with the advanced design with all these extra ingredients. And I know the previous owner of Whole Foods. So I had a connection, right? And now Amazon owns it. But even back then, when he was running the whole show, he couldn't get it on the shelves. And the reason they wouldn't put it on the shelves is because they say, oh, if this makes people happier, people will eat the whole bottle, take the whole bottle. And and then there'll be a side effect. But actually, you could take the whole bottle and there's no side effect. However, taking more than, 10 milligrams, 10 milligrams doesn't have any increased benefit. You just get the benefit of it. And it doesn't make you happy. It allows you to have a more balanced mood. Unhappiness is just often lack of nutritional support for sure. But things happen in our lives that make us unhappy. Things happen in our lives that make us happy. It keeps us from going to the extremes. That's the big key factor of it. The reason I added, besides lithium oritate, I added calcium oritate and magnesium oritate, because magnesium is really important for calming serotonin, and calcium is more important for stimulating dopamine. So one is a stimulant and one is a relaxant, and lithium is known to balance. So what we want in our lives is a balance of stimulation and relaxation at the same time. That was one of the promises of meditation. This is, why I can do what I do, is I'm in flow state all the time, which is I'm focused and relaxed. I'm yin and I'm yang. I'm masculine, I'm feminine. I'm in that balanced state. And it's lithium that allows to maintain the balance. So what's going on in all the little neurons in the brain, they're just brain cells. That's a neuron. It's a brain cell. And every cell, it's just like all going on inside of us. So fast is the cells in the brain absorb magnesium. Okay, so they store magnesium inside, and that makes that magnesium stimulates serotonin in your brain. So you have to have lots of magnesium. So many women are anxious today just because they're not making enough magnesium. And also, if you're constipated, you're not eating enough magnesium. I know for years, my major source of magnesium was almond butter. I would make almond butter and honey. It's one of my favorite things, with little cut up pieces of apple. That was my snack. And I don't do it so much now, but that's what it was. But that's a source of magnesium. You can take magnesium pills. They don't all go across the blood-brain barrier. Magnesium oritate does go across the blood-brain barrier, but all forms of magnesium, good. There's some that have all 7 forms of magnesium. But anyway, you take the magnesium that goes into the brain. Now your cells, your little neurons in the brain have magnesium. And you take calcium oritate. The thing about oritate is it delivers it to the brain. When you take a calcium supplement, it doesn't go into the brain. So when you have food, it can cross the blood-brain barrier, but these supplements don't cross the blood-brain barrier, but calcium oritate does. So you get magnesium oritate and you get calcium oritate. And what happens is every second it's going in and out. The calcium goes in, stimulates dopamine, and then the calcium goes out, and the magnesium, which is left in the neuron, makes you more calm. The calcium goes in, it stimulates excitement, and the calcium, do you see what's going on here? It's like there's sex going on in our brain all the time. Calcium is going in, calcium is going out. When it goes in, there's excitement, it goes out, magnesium calms the brain. And what keeps that in balance is lithium oritate. So you get these 3 things together. And then there's zinc oritate, which is a very important function for the whole thing. Not exactly sure what that's there for, but I know for men we need more zinc, so I put zinc oritate in it as well. The women's version doesn't have much zinc. They don't need as much zinc. So there you get the whole package. So lithium oritate. Then you throw in all of the advanced design with bacopa, which is another ingredient from China, which gives you focus, endurance. All of these ingredients together is to make your brain work better. Optimal brain function is really a great thing, great energy. So that's the new product. It's currently been sold at Amazon It is now sold out at Amazon. You can't just run and go get it, but soon it's going to be at my website, and you'll be able to get it at marsvenus.com. I'm so excited. Uh, I have trademark issues now with I was putting on a new label, which is the Mars, the Mars and the Venus, and if you remember the candy bar company, Company, they have challenged my trademark, even though I was in the supplement business long before they were with my Mars Venus shakes and my Mars Venus minerals for 22 years. But they've challenged it because they're a big corporation, and now, so now Amazon's giving me trouble. So goodbye, Amazon. Although I'll probably still have another label at it on Amazon, but at my Mars Venus store, which I'm going to open now. I used to have one, as you all know. We're opening it again. Rich is taking care of that. I'm so grateful for that. Oh, I've
Yep,
already done it.
next couple of weeks.
In the next couple of weeks, he's going to get it done. And I went for a whole hour already. Uh,
Unbelievable.
so I know we went really fast there. Let me finish up on the hormone thing that I started out with. I'm not sure I got all that complete. So what women need is and you can get more on this if you go to marsvenus.com and how to get your me time. It's a class that I developed with my daughter Lauren. It's also a lot of that is in my book, which is called Beyond Mars and Venus. That's all the hormone stuff. Although the class is better because you get all your questions answered. Frequently asked questions, and you get exercises. You get videos. It's a wonderful class. Lauren and I worked really hard on that, and then that's available to you. So that's what we got for today. Balancing our hormones for women and for men. It's always about testosterone. And I gave you one technique. I want to give one more technique that for couples can practice this. One that was the driving technique. Another was is every time when she'd hold the handle, I'd slow down, instant reaction. I put my hand on her thigh and say, I did that for you. And then she says, I know you did, and thank you. So it takes that moment. It's what happens in that moment is a surge of estrogen. There was a little danger. She felt a little danger. He responded immediately, and she will get a surge of estradiol. And this is you're 80 years old, you're going to get a surge of estradiol. And you don't need to be stuck in beyond menopause with these old person's hormones. You can make young person's hormones along with them. And that's estradiol. You don't have to take our estradiol. You can make it. Many women, in order to uh, get the benefits of estradiol, they take it as opposed to making it. You can make it, and there's so many tools. There's new tools in my book. The most powerful one, and I think Helena was mentioning that it's soon to come out. It's the Heart Space Feeling Letter app. It allows you. It writes 3 letters for you. It writes a poem for you. It tells a little story for you. It does all these things for you. But first, it asks you 4 questions. It takes that information in. It then turns it into the Mars Venus feeling letter, where you go through the anger, sadness, fear, regret, back to love, back to forgiveness, back to understanding. That's your insights. All of that is done for you. Then a response letter for you. Then how you respond to that response letter. It's all there. It's all done. And it's not that this replaces doing it yourself. It's just nobody does it. So this will teach you how to do it. You'll see how powerful it is. And after a while, you want to do it yourself, or you can just use it. I've been using it because I've been using it more than I would need it. But what's so interesting, I'm discovering something new, is because I have to keep using it every day to see how take out the bugs, to make sure it's doing everything correctly. And, is it putting this in the right place? Is it doing this? How's it looking? So I have to every time go over everything that's bothering me, and nothing's bothering me. I can't do it because I have to repeat all the problems in my life. But what's happening is in just 15 minutes, I go down, okay, what are all the problems bothering my life? What's happening that I don't like? What's not happening that I want to happen? And, what could be happening? What's not happening? What should happen? These basic questions. And I just sort of speak them out, and then it writes it all out in these beautiful letters, feeling letters for you. And every time as I get close to the end of the letter, it's like all this emotion comes up. Just my heart just opens. it's amazing how powerful this tool is. So the more I practice it, you know, I think in the book I said this is good to do once a week. I mean, if you got an extra 15 or 20 minutes, do it every day. It doesn't matter if you're repeating the same thing, because most of what we're ever upset about is the same thing over and over. So your brain can, instead of just sort of living in that state of whatever level you live in, you go to a deeper level and you go to a deeper level each time. Opens your heart. So I'm very happy about it. This is exciting things for us to look forward to. Thanks for joining me today, Rich. Thanks for setting all this up. So I'll say thank you all. We'll see you next week.
Have a great week. See you
Have a
next
great
week.
week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.